Ilyushin Il-86, Soviet Union's first wide-body jet airliner. The Ilyushin Il-86 was the Soviet Union's first wide-body commercial jet airliner, designed to match the technological advancements of Western aircraft such as the Boeing 747 and McDonnell Douglas DC-10. Developed during the 1970s by the Ilyushin Design Bureau, the Il-86 was a bold statement of Soviet aerospace ambitions and an important step in expanding the country's long-haul civil aviation capabilities. Though it never achieved widespread global success, the Il-86 served reliably for decades and remains a symbol of Cold War-era Soviet aviation. The Il-86 was conceived during the late 1960s and early 1970s, when wide-body jumbo jets were revolutionizing air travel in the West. The Soviet Union needed a similarly capable aircraft to handle increasing domestic air traffic and to project technological parity on international routes. The project was assigned to the Ilyushin Design Bureau, which had already designed the successful Il-62 long-range narrow-body jet. First flown on December 22, 1976, and entering service in 1980, the Il-86 was intended primarily for medium to long-range routes, especially within the vast Soviet Union and to friendly nations. The aircraft featured a twin-aisle layout, capable of carrying over 350 passengers, and was powered by 4 Kuznetsov NK-86 turbofan engines mounted under the wings. The Ilyushin Il-86 was notable for several unique and practical design features. Wide-body configuration. As the first wide-body jetliner produced outside the West, the Il-86 featured a spacious interior with 2 aisles and seating for 350 to 450 passengers, depending on layout. On-board passenger loading. One of the most distinctive features of the Il-86 was its built-in boarding stairways and luggage compartments accessible by passengers. In airports with limited infrastructure, common across the USSR, passengers could carry their own luggage into a dedicated cargo area, reducing reliance on ground handling services. Rugged construction. Built to Soviet standards, the aircraft was designed to operate from underdeveloped or unpaved runways and withstand harsh climates, making it ideal for operations across remote regions. Simplified avionics. Compared to its Western counterparts, the Il-86 had more basic avionics and required a larger flight crew, including a flight engineer and navigator. While robust, this made it less efficient by modern standards. The Il-86 entered commercial service with Aeroflot in 1980 and quickly became the backbone of the Soviet domestic long-haul fleet. It flew on key routes such as Moscow to Leningrad, Novosibirsk, Tashkent, and international destinations in Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. While it was a reliable aircraft, the Il-86 was heavy and underpowered by Western standards. Its Kuznetsov NK-86 engines, although rugged, were fuel inefficient, limiting the aircraft's range to approximately 5,000 to 6,000 kilometers, significantly less than competing aircraft like the DC-10 or Lockheed L-1011. Due to these limitations, the Il-86 never became a true long-haul aircraft and saw limited adoption outside the USSR and Allied countries. A few units were sold or leased to airlines in Cuba, China, and Middle Eastern countries, but Western carriers showed no interest. In addition to commercial service, the Il-86 saw extensive use in military and government roles. The Russian Air Force operated Il-86 aircraft as VIP transports. Some were converted for military personnel transport. A specialized version, the Il-86 VKP, was developed as an airborne command post, functioning similarly to the US E-4B Doomsday plane. These roles extended the operational lifespan of the Il-86 well beyond its commercial retirement. Despite its success within the USSR, the Il-86 faced several challenges. Fuel inefficiency and limited range made it less competitive in the global market. Its avionics and systems lagged behind Western aircraft in terms of automation and pilot workload. It was heavy, leading to higher operating costs. The collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991 led to a shrinking of the state-run airline system and reduced demand. By the early 2000s, Most Il-86s had been phased out of passenger service. Some remained in government or military use, but commercial operators increasingly turned to newer, more efficient aircraft, such as the Il-96, its intended successor, Airbus, and Boeing jets. Though not a commercial success globally, the Il-86 holds an important place in aviation history. It was the first wide-body airliner developed and built outside the Western world. It demonstrated self-sufficient airport operations, ideal for less developed regions. It was a symbol of Soviet aviation strength and independence during the Cold War. It provided reliable service for decades, especially under difficult operational conditions. A number of Il-86s are preserved in museums or used for training and military purposes. Though no longer flying passengers, the aircraft remains an important chapter in the story of Soviet civil aviation. The Ilyushin Il-86 was a bold and technically ambitious response to the Western dominance of the wide-body aircraft market. It reflected the unique needs and circumstances of the Soviet Union, designed not just for performance, but for practicality and independence. Though it lacked the range and efficiency to compete globally, the Il-86 succeeded in connecting the vast territories of the USSR and left behind a lasting legacy in the annals of Russian aviation. Its development laid the groundwork for future wide-body aircraft in Russia and showcased the nation's determination to compete on the world stage. Brought to you by Infinite Knowledge from Maroli Edutech. Thanks for viewing. Please share and subscribe to our channel.